in Western Kenya and pull the industry back to profitability.
In the region, you find that it's only Kenya that has not started irrigating its sugarcane. When you go to Uganda, you'll find that Uganda is already irrigating their cane. When you go to Kagera, you'll see they are doing very, very well. When you go to Gezira in Sudan, you find that Sudan is irrigating its sugarcane.
We need to bring here to help you in accommodating drought. Whenever drought or water scarcity, it will be easy for you to continue and sustain your agriculture products. In sugar production, we look for crops that have less consumption of water, like sugar beets.
The court has halted the Kenya ferry services from proceeding with procurement activities of the new 2 billion shilling ferries from Turkey. This is on account of a case filed by Bonre's Insurance Marine Surveyors under certificate of urgency, raising allegations regarding quality and safety of ferries and prices of the 2 new ferries. KFS has been ordered to stop re-advertising and re-tendering the supply project supervision and ferries inspection consultancy services. This includes inspection, supervision and marine survey activities of the 2 new ferries pending hearing and determination of the application. Bonre's Insurance alleged that the main building contract has unjustifiably been hiked by about 323 million shillings. The decision deals a blow to the KFS and the Transport Ministry plans to ensure the 2 ferries are in the country from Turkey to be launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta before the elections. Mobile money service M-Pesa will be unavailable for 4 hours on Saturday night and not 11 or 12 hours as previously communicated. The last of the 3 system upgrades in 2 weeks is to cause an outage of M-Pesa services on Sunday, July the 16th from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. This is expected to see new features added and some functions automated, as well as reduce the time that new partners take to be integrated onto the M-Pesa platform. And last but not least, insurance group Sanlam has acquired a 75% stake in PineBridge Investment East Africa after getting regulatory approval. Now, PineBridge, which now will be known as Sanlam Investment East Africa Limited, has assets worth 200 billion shillings. The conclusion of the acquisition paves way for the group to integrate its asset management business and build a regional asset manager. Now, the valuation of the shareholding was not disclosed. And that's all we had for you on NTV Business News tonight. Stay tuned, we have a lot more lined up for you.
Welcome back. The late Senator Gigi Kariuki will be laid to rest tomorrow at his home in Rumuruti, Laikipia. At a memorial service attended by friends, relatives and parliament colleagues, he was mourned as a great servant leader who was always sensitive to the plight of those who crossed his path and a firm believer in education and family. Gigi, who was the country's oldest senator, died on the 30th of June at the Nairobi hospital after he was taken ill. Sheila Sandeo reports.
The story of the late Senator Gigi Kariuki is perhaps a portrait of the country's history, a life relived at this memorial service attended by friends, family and colleagues of the late senator, a man who left a mark in the lives he touched and a legacy celebrated by those he left behind.
We had all kinds of people coming home, famous, rich, and some not so famous and not so rich. But the one thing that Dad made sure we always did was to serve everybody. And depending on his mood, he also made us sing and do skits for them.
He always taught us to be inquisitive and to follow not to follow others aimlessly. Kama kodo, like he always said.
The late senator was remembered as having played a key role in the development of Laikipia, from infrastructure such as roads, schools and medical facilities to settling the landless.
He was a great man. He was generous. Some of the things he did struck me. He had what I would call consistency and persistence of purpose. When he meant to do something, he never left, took his eye from that.
His quest for knowledge, it is said, was insatiable. Just 2 years ago, He added another feather to his cape, graduating with a doctorate in international relations from the University of Nairobi's Institute of Diplomacy and International Studies. The stylish small man is perhaps a clear repository of Kenya's history. His story traverses 4 regimes.
Despite his age, Gigi was on time. Gigi was the last to leave Senate, which so many of us couldn't even sit for 1 hour, young as we are.
People keep asking, why do you refer to him as Senator number 1? There is no such title in Senate, there isn't. But what else could we call Senator Gigi Kariuki? He was always in the House when he was in Nairobi. He was very articulate in his debates. And those of us that know Gigi knew he could be a little cynical about issues. And he looked at things from a very different perspective from everybody else who spoke.
He was one of the longest-serving members of parliament, having served in the first ever parliament in 1963. At the height of his might, he was a cardinal figure in the early days of the Moi presidency, straddling the political space like the proverbial colossus. He has been in the thick of Kenya's politics in the early years as a KANU youth winger. Reflections of his time in politics that he put down in an autobiography published in 2001, Illusions of Power. The late Senator Gigi Kariuki was known as the rise and fall, fall and rise kind of politician, but who, with every fall, engineered his rise from the ashes like the proverbial phoenix, a man of all seasons whose time passed on the 30th of June and who will be laid to rest at his home in Rumuruti Friday. Sheila Sendeo, NTV, Nairobi.
And may the man who also had a heart for martial arts rest in peace. And on that note, we'll take a break for sports after this.